Hi there, I'm Mike. What I have for you today is Star Wars The Black Series number 93, Cal Kestis. That's right, I'm not done reviewing Star Wars The Black Series figures. I'm way behind in reviewing Star Wars The Black Series figures. Before I start the review, I'm going to go ahead and read the bio on the back of the box while you look at a picture of Cal here in front of your eyeballs. A Jedi Padawan during the Clone Wars, Cal Kestis narrowly escaped the horrors of Order 66 and was forced into hiding. Together with explorer droid BD-1, he embarks on a journey to rebuild the Jedi Order while evading the terrifying Imperial Inquisitors. Here he is out of the package, and I have to say, on first glance, I like him. Full disclosure, I haven't played the game. I've got a lot of things going on, but I have got the gist of it, and this is a toy review, not a game review. So I'm going to review the toy, and I don't have to know anything about the guy to review the toy as a toy. But I do know a little bit about him. So, just like Kanan Jarrus in Rebels, Cal here is a survivor of Order 66. He appears in the game Jedi Fallen Order. When this figure was announced and released, the game hadn't come out yet, so I suspect a lot of people didn't buy him until they played the game, because that's typically how people are. I didn't. I bought him right away because I didn't really have to know anything about him to know that I like the look of him. But starting with the likeness, does he look like he does in the game? And for this, it's very easy to just go online and watch videos and look at pictures. And I have to say, yeah, he does. He's not a real person. He is played by a real person. He's like voice acted by a real person. That person is Cameron Monaghan. He's been in a lot of stuff, but nothing that I really care about. I guess he kind of looks like this, but he provides the voice. But Cal here is from the game physically, and they've successfully translated what Cal looks like in the game here into my hand in plastic. They've used the digital face printing to give his face a very good likeness, lots of shading. The eyes look great. He's got just a good head of hair. I mean, like a really good head of hair. I miss having hair. Part of the looks, though, is his outfit, what he kind of looks like, how he's dressed, which outfit they chose for this. The problem with talking about that is the game has a lot of customization, physical customizations. Yes, he wears this in the game. This is like the vanilla outfit. This is one you get when you start off. But chances are you haven't worn this very much, because when you get a cooler color or a different look or his poncho, he's going to look different. So they chose the kind of vanilla thing here. I think it would have been kind of nice to have a couple of variant figures or versions with different colors from the game. I also didn't want to buy this character like 5 times just to have different colors, so I'm kind of glad they didn't as well. But really, in terms of the likeness, I'm gonna give it the full point. I really don't have anything to comment against it. It just looks like it should. So, what does he come with? The lightsaber here is actually a lightsaber he gets from his Jedi Master, but it's not really a spoiler. This happens in like the first, I think, 30 minutes of the game, not even that. His Jedi Master's name is Jaro Tapal. He is a Lasat, just like Zeb from Rebels, and that's awesome. He uses a double-bladed lightsaber. In this case, we only have about 3/4 of it because it does get damaged while they try to escape, and this is what we have left over. And I really like the details they have in this lightsaber. It's really cool that you can see the end is sort of blasted off or broken off. I do wish it had a little bit more paint on it. It's actually just a solid piece of dark gray. I would have liked the ends to be a little bit more burnt, look like they got damaged. But I'm not going to complain too much. But I do want to point out that the lightsaber hilt itself, while neat, is plain. The lightsaber blade is a kind of a standard blue blade that he uses. It is removable if you want to, if you want to have him carrying around the lightsaber hilt without the blade ignited. But my other downside to this is there is no place to hook the lightsaber onto the belt. He's got a lot of things on the belt that we'll get to, but not one of those places is a place to hang the lightsaber. And every Jedi who carries a lightsaber needs a place to put it when they're not carrying it. He wears it on his belt in the game. You can see it hanging from there while he's running around. He really should have a place to kind of clip it on, and it's kind of a bummer that he doesn't. The other accessory he comes with is BD-1. And BD-1 is the best, just the absolute best. I didn't have to know anything about BD-1 to know that I like BD-1. He has sort of a Wally look about him, and he's, in essence, his very own figure. So let's go ahead and take a look at BD-1 real quick. First, let's take a quick peek at his articulation. BD's head is on a ball joint, so it can move all the way around. It also has a little bit of a wiggle and can move a little bit up and down. His leg is also on a ball joint, so it has a lot of wiggle here. And then he has a hinge at the backwards knee. With this being BD's widest stance, it's not super wide. BD-1 has a lot of articulation. His head's on a ball joint. He's got lots of little hinges on his legs. He can have a pretty good range of movement which is important for putting him on his back. If you want to know how I do that, this is how I do it. To get BD on Cal's back, what we need to do is turn his head around and then make his legs go backwards the other way. Here his toes are pointed straight up like this. They're a little bit better to snake in the back of his jacket right here. They'll just slide right in like that, and he tends to hang out just fine. Pose him how you like him. For the most part, he stays on pretty well. Like you can see him right here. He's hanging on to the back. He doesn't fall out. Now in the game, he's just kind of hanging on his back and walking on it like it's nothing, like he's got sticky feet, like Spider-Man, but a robot. That's not how it works here, but tucking the feet up under works really, really well. BD1 has a lot of fantastic paint apps that honestly I can't get enough over how much I genuinely like this little droid a lot. But in terms of accessories, other than the lightsaber and BD1, that's all Cal comes with, and I do wish that he had a few other accessories. Number one, he's missing his poncho. He wears a poncho all the time in the game. There's lots of different ponchos you can get in the game. I would have liked some kind of option to have that on here. Number two, the lightsaber. In the game, there's a lot of options for different lightsabers. In fact, if you go to Disneyland, you can even put in Savi's workshop parts in there and customize the lightsaber in-game to the one you made at Savi's workshop. It's pretty cool that you can do that. There's different color blades. There's different lightsaber hilts. I just wish that Hasbro had given us a couple of choices here again. I don't know how they would have done that. Alternate packs, chase variants, multiple pieces in the package to customize your own. All of that would have been cool. I get why they chose this one, but because he has the options in the game, I would have liked it if they'd somehow translated that into the figure. So while he does have a couple negatives, mostly in what I wish he'd come with rather than what he did come with, BD1 kind of makes up for it, but I'm not going to give him a perfect score. I'm going to give it a 0.75. Next, let's move on to Cal's articulation. How does he move? Cal's head can turn all the way around. It goes forward this far, back that far, has a little bit of a waggle. He has a butterfly joint at his shoulder. It moves out this far. It can move all the way around. His elbow moves up this far. It's also on a swivel. His wrist is on a swivel, and it hinges like this. This wrist hinges this way. He has a torso joint that allows him to swivel. It moves forward this far, back that far. His legs move forward this far, back not very far. He has an upper thigh rotation, a double jointed knee, a hinge at the ankle, as well as a rocker, with this being Cal's widest stance with both his feet flat on the ground. Honestly, there aren't too many negatives here. He's got a great range of movement on his head. His shoulders have the butterfly joint because they are kind of hidden, so they have the option of going back and forth, something that I wish more and more Black Series figures came with, and they are, but not all of them, which is weird. His elbows have a decent range of movement. His torso isn't hindered by the belt or any of the straps, which is fantastic, and his legs also have a pretty wide range of movement. All in all, I don't really have anything negative to say about it, so I'm going to give it the full point. And that moves us on to paint and sculpt. Let's take a look at the details in the clothing and how it looks and how it comes together, starting with his chest. Now, on the chest, there's two pieces here. There's the actual torso, and then there is a piece that's overlayered. It's not removable unless maybe you take the figure apart. If you're a customizer, I'm sure you can get it off if you really tried, but it's not intended to be removable. What I like about this piece is it reminds me a little bit of Dash Rendar. The shoulder parts aren't as pronounced, but it is there. I think it's the quilted pattern that really kind of does it for me. There's lots of great sculpting and paint apps here. The belt and buckles that go around the torso have a lot of great sculpted and painted details. The silver on the buckles, the little loops that could hold items or things in there. The leather is painted, or it's kind of looks more like hide to me, but I mean, leather is just a different kind of hide, I suppose. And then on the right hand side there, the buckles and belts come down to pouches, and there's just a lot going on here, and I love the attention to detail. Underneath, his shirt is just a shirt. I mean, it's part of his torso. I like that it's rolled up on one side of the sleeve. They do a good job of sculpting that, so we have a kind of plain forearm with a band on it. On the left-hand side, the sleeve goes all the way down into what looks like a leather glove, which I like. And it has some sort of little sculpted and painted wrist communicator. He also has a couple of little details of canisters on his arm. Again, lots of fun little details about this where it could be plain, but it's not. Moving down to the belt, the front of the belt's pretty boring, but it's like the mullet of belts. It's business in the front and party in the back. On the back, he's got canisters and tools and pouches. There's just a lot going on here. All of it is sculpted and painted very, very well. I do wish maybe the tools had been removable, or again, there was some place on here to put the lightsaber kind of a bummer there. Moving down to his pants, they are deceptively plain, but they're not plain. There's a lot of sculpted details and rings and wrinkles in there. There's even some kind of weird control panel on his pocket. Don't know what you need a control panel to control on his pocket. Maybe it's a butt warmer. Maybe he's got robot pants. I've got no idea. But there's a control panel there, and it's sculpted and painted really well. Also, to show off his dedication to safety, he has ever-present knee pads on his knees sculpted into the pants. Moving down to the boots look great. They look just kind of like they're part of the pants, but they have some cuffs and they have some buckles sculpted and painted. I really like the outfit here, and Hasbro's done a great job of adding the detail and the paint. It works really, really well. They've done just a fantastic job. There's very minimal paint bleed, if any. You could spend a long time just going over the detail on here, like I have. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it the full point. So that moves us on to want and availability. Did I want this guy? And the answer is always yes, I did. Again, I don't have to know much about a figure. I can buy a figure just based on how he looks. He's part of the Star Wars mythos, and I can tell because he looks like he should be. You don't really have to know who he is to know that I like the way this guy looks. I guarantee it. So I bought it. But on top of just liking the way he looks, I also wanted him as soon as I saw him because of the little droid. I love having droids in my collection, and this is no exception. The droid adds a lot of personality to the shelf, but honestly, most of the time, instead of being with the rest of the droids like I thought he would be, mine just kind of hangs out on Cal's back, and he's now just become a part of the figure. In terms of availability, he's part of the Force Friday wave. He was available in both the white box, the first edition, and the regular black box. I've seen him multiple times in both ways. If you really want to find him, he's not that hard. If you can't find him in stores, you can find him on Amazon, Hasbro Pulse, Big Bad Toy Store. Pick your poison. Honestly, I don't think he's going to be that hard to find, but he's worth the find. I'm going to give this the full point. So that brings us down to a final score of 4.75 out of 5. While this wasn't in my top 10 figures of the year, I do believe he was part of the runners-up. I really like the way this character looks on the shelf. He looks fantastic standing next to other survivors of Order 66. Kanan Jarrus, Ahsoka Tano, Ezra Bridger. They all look cool together because they all have that in common. They didn't die when the Empire killed all the Jedi. So if you're like me and you've always been fascinated by characters who survived the Jedi Purge of Order 66, or you just like Jedi Fallen Order, I honestly think you deserve to have this on your shelf. And if none of that's true, I don't know, it's fine. You can probably ignore it, but I definitely think he's worth it for the droid alone. So that's it for my Cal Kestis review. What did you think? Do you have him? Do you want him? Were you waiting on my review to buy him? Go ahead, let me know down in the downstairs area. I love to read and respond to all the comments left. I'd also like to take a moment to thank these people here who helped me out on Patreon by supporting me at a level of Black Series reviews or higher. If you want to check out my Patreon and maybe get your name on here, go ahead and check it out. There's a link down in the downstairs area. If that's not your thing, down in the downstairs area still are a couple different ways that you can help out my channel if you want to. That could also help you out. You could also help me out by liking, sharing, subscribing, hitting the bell. All that stuff goes a long way to helping the channel grow. And with that, thank you so much for getting this far, and I'll see you later. Bye.